Hey, what's up everyone? Jay here with Solo YGO. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Thank you for joining us. Hit that subscribe button. We're playing Goat Format on the channel today. Mike's going to go ahead and roll a 7. He's playing Skilled Chaos. And I'll roll a 9. I'm playing Chaos Turbo. So I'll have to go first, but before we get into that, we'll both draw our 5 cards and we're going to show you guys. We're not looking at each other's hands. We're just doing that for you guys to see what we're working with. So for me, I'm going to start out with 1 Songen, 1 Magician of Faith, Thunder Dragon, Magical Merchant, and another Thunder Dragon. Not the best, but we can definitely work with it. We have cards that can mill and add stuff from deck. He's got Graveyard Spy, Merchant, Upstart, Snatch Steal, and Metamorphosis. A bit more of a balanced hand, I would say. But we're not going to throw in the towel yet. It's pretty even. I can work with the hand I have for sure. So I'm going to go ahead and discard 1 Thunder Dragon to start it off. So I can only add 1, right? The only time you would do 1 at a time otherwise is if you're trying to get multiple lights engraved. Say you have, you hard drew some of the Chaos monsters like Chaos Sork or BLS. But once he sees that I don't discard the second one, it's pretty obvious that I hard drew the second one as well. So yeah, but you still want to go into that anyways because there's so many draw cards in Goat format that you want to thin your deck of the Thunder Dragons so that you don't have to draw it off of something else and be a waste, right? So I'll go ahead and set Magical Merchant in my turn. Mike's going to go ahead and activate Upstart Goblin right off the top. So I'll get 1,000 life points. That puts me at 9k. Then he's going to go ahead and set a Magical Merchant of himself. So now we're looking at Magical Merchant versus Magical Merchant. Go ahead and set another one. Such a riveting start to the game, right? A lot of sets and passes. That's just kind of the nature of Goat format. You're trying to out advantage your opponent. So here we see the power of Magical Merchant. You get to mill cards until you reach a spell or trap. Excavate. So if you hit a lot of monsters, you're going to send a lot to your graveyard. Also, it's a light monster and a level 1, so it works great with Metamorphosis as well as getting a light monster in the grave. He's going to go into Thousand Eyes Restrict, which is the only good level 1. It might even be the only level 1 during this time. It is at 0 attack because it sucked up a face down monster. Mike's going to go ahead and set 2 more. At this point in time, I had mentioned to him that setting myself up for Heavy Storm, but I'm assuming he has a plan, so. Then I'll go ahead and set another one. And when I attempt to go to the end phase, Mike's going to activate Book of Moon. Going to flip his Thousand Eyes Restrict face down, so that gets rid of the monster, removes the floodgate for him if he wants to do anything else. It also allows him the option to flip it face back up and suck up a monster again. Set 1, and he's going to proceed to suck up my Songen, which is a little risky. He didn't know it was there, but it works out for me because if I do out his Thousand Eyes Restrict somehow, the Songen's going to go to the grave and be able to search off of it. That would give me a card like Tsukiyomi, which allows me to out it at some point. So Mike's going to set another card. Keep in mind his Thousand Eyes Restrict is again at 0 attack points, so it's not doing too much right here. Except for stalling us both. We'll set a card again. Just kind of waiting for an opportunity to go, so I'll pass it over. Big think. Mike's going to go ahead and upstart again. Now he's ran through both of his upstarts in the deck. That puts me at 10k. Hitting out his deck nicely. I consider playing upstart in my build, but there's a lot of gas with the monsters. I've got like Dekoichi, Magician of Faith, allows me to recur cards like Pot of Green, Graceful Charity, so I didn't think I had room for it, but it's not a bad option at all. Set Ring of Destruction, which is possible out to Thousand Eyes at any point. Go ahead and set another monster. Pass it back over to Mike. Mike passes back over to me. And I think it's time to go for it. Check what I got real quick. Then I'm going to go ahead and Ring of Destruction. To pop the Thousand Eyes Restrict. We both take 0 damage because it has 0 attack. But my Songen does trigger, which allows me to search for a monster in my deck with 1500 attack or less. There's many options you can go for in this scenario. virtually the whole deck, aside from the Chaos Monsters, is searchable. Yeah, but typically it's going to be Tsukiyomi. I am playing, I believe, 11 flip monsters in this deck. 12 now in my new build, but 11 during the filming of this video, so Tsukiyomi is just really powerful because of that. I can flip my own monsters and utilize their effects multiple times. It's really good. Also, it's a good out to anything your opponent has. Or if you need to flip a Thousand Eyes, restrict face down. Such a great card. I only run it as a one of, just because I tend to find it, either through drawing into it, hard drawing it to start the game, or Songen. Like I said, it's usually my first go-to, so flip to Koichi, draw a card, flip Great Reaper Spy, go ahead and summon another Spy. Virtually every flip effect in my build, the turbo build, is some kind of card that gives you some kind of plus or advantage, or worst case goes neutral, but trying to out advantage your opponent in Goat format. It's such a time in Yu-Gi-Oh! Where advantage really meant more than it means nowadays, because as you know, advantage still matters. However, you can draw into one card and go +5 off of it, +3, whatever. You know, look at cards like Rite of Armistier, goes +3, just hard drawing it. So I'll go ahead and Metamorphosis my Gravekeeper Spy. Go into the Darkfire Dragon. That allowed me to get another Dark Engrave. Kind of playing around Mirror Force here. I don't know what his set card is. Alright. So I'll enter the battle phase and I'll have Dark Flare Dragon attack his face down. Go ahead and take 500 damage attacking the Gravekeeper Spy. Gravekeeper Spy will allow him to summon out another one, of course. So the power of the mirror match here, doing a lot of the same stuff. The ratios are quite different though. If you guys are interested in seeing his deck profile, it's up in the playlist under the title Goat Format. So I'll go over and attack over his other card, the draw one flip effect monster. With Koichi, go ahead and draw one. Set a back row. And I realized I had not used my normal summon yet, so back to what I was talking about, how Tsukiyomi can abuse your flip effects. So go ahead and reset Koichi, end phase, spirit monsters go back to the hand, so Tsukiyomi returns to my hand. And this hurts. This is going to hurt. He's going to pay 1,000 life points, and he's going to delinquent duo me. That's how much advantage my deck gets, because even this late in the game, his delinquent duo is live by not even a close margin. So he's going to roll into a 3, he's going to get rid of my Chaos Orc, that's really hurtful. My deck really doesn't have too much beaters, it relies on the Chaos Monsters and controlling the game state. And of course I had to select another one from my hand that I want to discard, so I'll go ahead and get rid of Thunder Dragon. He did mention he was hoping to hit my Suk, and that's probably correct. I think they're both good, but Tsukiyomi is just really good for controlling the state of the game. So he's going to go ahead and attack my face down with Spy. I do have a set card, so I'm contemplating that. I believe that's Magician of Faith that he's going to attack into. So I was checking my graveyard to see if I had any spells that, you know, I want to see if I can let's go through possibly. But I decided against it, and he gets hit with the Mirror Force. That hits 2 of his cards, a light and a dark, so that puts him on automatic chaos in case he has anything. Mike's going to go ahead and set 2 more face downs. And he passes it back over. I am really susceptible to Torrential Tribute at this point in time. But of course I'm playing into everything. I got so much cards in my hand that if my field goes, I'm not too concerned at this point. I'm just trying to control the overall game state. Koichi allows me to draw another card again. And then I'm going to go ahead and Pot of Greed. Draw 2 more. That's my first Pot of Greed of the game. I'm going to go ahead and Magician of Faith, target Pot of Greed, add back Pot of Greed again, use my second Pot of Greed of the game, so now we're drawing 4, plus 5 with Koichi. Koichi actually drew us into Pot of Greed. It's crazy. Just ridiculous, right? I'm going to summon Tsukiyomi, and I'm going to flip his Gravekeeper Spy, because I really have absolutely nothing that can get around it on the field. So because I did that, I was able to Nobleman of Cross out it. But I do lose my last Spy in my deck, and Mike goes through his, but he doesn't have any, so we have to shuffle them regardless. Yeah, can you imagine if I Tsukiyomi'd my Magician of Faith at this point in time, went back into Pot of Greed again next turn? It'd be insane. But yeah, Pot of Greed's just wild. I almost like Graceful Charity a little more though, just because it allows me to get some Light of Darks in my graveyard. I also run Sinister Serpent, so there is some potential to get some advantage out of it, you know. I'll go ahead and set 2. And I'm going to try and play around Mirror Force a little. My Spy in defense, change over my Darkfire to defense. And I don't actually attempt to go into battle phase. I opted against it. I thought it was a little too aggressive. I didn't want to lose my Sook first and foremost, if he had a Sockretsu or a Mirror Force. So I decided to go end phase. End phase, Tsukiyomi goes back to the hand, and Mike's going to go ahead and activate Scapegoat during the end phase. So I'll get my Sook back, and he's going to get 4 Goat tokens. He's got some pretty cool looking tokens there. He's into the custom ones, which I like. And then Mike's going to go ahead and draw for turn. And he's got Tribe Infecting Virus. A 1 of, it's limited to 1, pretty good card. I actually side deck it, I don't main deck it. It's a water. I do like it, I don't think I have room. He's gonna have to discard Snatch Steal though, which Snatch Steal is a very good card, so but he thinks it's worth it, and it worked out here. He was able to call Spellcasters and get rid of 2 of my cards. He got rid of my Magician of Faith, so I can't Tsukiyomi it again. So you almost think back to when I was debating whether I should Tsukiyomi his monster or my Magician of Faith. It would have prevented Tribe from being able to target. So now he's going to go Metamorphosis, get rid of one of the tokens. Tokens are level 1. And he's going to go ahead and Thousand Eyes Restrict. He's going to take my Darkfire Dragon. Does prevent his Tribe Infecting from attacking, but that's not the end of the world. I can still use its effect. I do have Raigeki Break, however, and I'm going to discard Sinister Serpent, so we got some good value there. Basically, like Raigeki Break just says, you know, pop 1 card on the field instead. Sinister Serpent does recur itself during the standby phases. So I've outed Thousand Eyes. We did have some confusion there. Mike was under the impression that Thousand Eyes can only be destroyed. Sorry, if it was destroyed at all, he can just remove the equipped monster, but it was only in battle, so card effect, it actually does destroy itself. Fortunately for me, because that would have been really bad. Would have been a really bad misplay. And now he's considering, I believe he's considering attacking with Trap Infecting Virus on my Dekoichi. Now that his monster's not floodgated anymore, he can't attack. But I don't want his Trap Infecting to leave the battle phase regardless. Because if he gets back to main phase 2, he can actually use his Trap Infecting Virus again because it's not once per turn. And he can pop my Call Machines and pop Dekoichi. So I wanted to get rid of his Trap Infecting during the battle phase. But of course, he had the Chaos Sorcerer in main phase 2 regardless. So he's going to be able to banish my Battle Chanted Locomotive. And now Mike has successfully cleared my whole field. But like I said, the field wasn't, you know, it's not my push. My push is the things I'm accumulating in my hand. Like Heavy Storm, Snatch Steal, eventually drawing into BLS. That's what I need to go for game. So I have an absolutely insane amount of cards in hand. So I'm going to summon a Chaos Sorcerer of my own. Because I know otherwise anything I put there is just going to get beat over. The Battle of the Chaos Orcs. Since I'm going to use its effect, I put it in defense because I can't attack regardless. Get rid of his Chaos Sorcerer. Go ahead and set 1 card. And pass it over. Mike does not have any cards in his hand anymore. But he top decks the Graceful Charity, which is pretty good. Pretty good in a Chaos deck. Like I said, Graceful Charity is so good because you can dig for what you need and put Lights and Darks back in the grave. But since he did draw cards when he has nothing else in his hand, he does have to discard 2 out of 3. So he's going to get rid of I believe it was a Sockretsu Armor and a Skilled White Magician. And he's going to summon a Chaos Sorcerer again. This is just crazy at this point. We're going Chaos Sorcerer to Chaos Sorcerer back to back. And I only run 2 of them in this build, so I run 2 Chaos Sorcerers and 1 BLS, so he's really getting rid of my win condition here. Like I said, I don't really have much beaters other than those. He's got Skilled White Magician and the Skilled Dark Magician, and those guys are actually kind of beefy, so... But yeah, here we go. Pot of Greed, time number 3. Magician of Faith, and then I'll go ahead and Pot of Greed, draw 2 again. Really digging for that BLS at this point in time. I draw into another Moth and then a Delinquent Duo. Delinquent Duo is just really dead at this point in the game for me. Mike's doesn't have any cards in his hand, so just not the best thing right now. I do have to get rid of his Chaos Orc again, so I'm able to Metamorphosis the Magician of Faith off. Suck up his Chaos Sorcerer, so regardless of whether that gets outed or not, Chaos Sorcerer will go back to the grave. That's at least my thinking at the time anyways. And then I'll attack, Sock Grits or Armor, locate his Chaos Sorcerer back in the grave so he can get it with Premature Burial, Call the Haunted, or use it for further banished material, so it's not as good as actually banishing it. But I'll go ahead and set 2, and then I'll attempt to go to the end phase. And the end phase, Mike will actually activate Call of the Haunted, bringing back the Chaos Sorcerer. So this is just Chaos Sorcerer Turbo at this point with us. Yeah, he can't banish it because it's face down. But look at this, another Magician of Faith. And this will give us our 4th time being able to activate Pot of Greed this game. What does it do? So he did attack. And I'll draw for turn. And 4th time activating Pot of Greed. It's just getting crazy at this point. Draw an MST and Scapegoat. Many ways to out this Chaos Sorcerer at this point. I could MST his Call Haunted, but I ended up Tsukiyomiing it instead. Because I do have Nobleman of Crossout. So I'll go ahead and Nobleman of Crossout his Chaos Sorcerer. Like I said, I really just don't like these things in the grave. So I chose to banish it instead. Tsukiyomi just really good, especially with Nobleman of Crossout being a thing, as well as all the flip effects I have. Can't stress how good she is enough. Go ahead and clear one of his tokens. Call of the Haunted did remain on the field though, because Chaos Sorcerer was not sent to the graveyard. It was banished. So yeah, it's kind of just stuck there floating. He's gonna go Heavy Storm my back row. I was kind of bluffing at this point. I had set an MST and a Scapegoat, so I was able to chain the Scapegoat. I felt like the MST traded very well with Heavy Storm. It was kind of the point, needed to get rid of the Heavy Storm at some point. Because at this point, I don't have many Chaos Monsters left in my deck, so I know that his Heavy Storm and MST are a threat to me if I have to go Torrential just to blow up the whole field and attack him directly. I have drawn a lot of cards at this point in the game, so I'm really looking low on cards in deck. I think I have about 10 or 12 at this point. And I just drew in a Graceful Charity for turn, so... but I know I have to be aggressive at this point in time, so Graceful Charity, draw 3 more, I drew in a Heavy Storm. Magical Merchant is not the best draw at this point in time because I really just don't want to be milling my cards. It's just, I can't stress that enough. It's really scary. I can't risk milling a BLS. So I discard Sinister Serpent because I'll get it back next turn anyways, and I discard Delinquent Duo. Like I said, Delinquent Duo is pretty much dead to me at this point in time. Mike's got the Songun on field in attack position, which is a really nice move because it's really scary. You don't want to give them a search, so I was fortunately able to use my DD Warrior Lady, just out it and do 500 damage. Don't want him to draw into anything he needs to out what I have. Pass turn. Tokens versus tokens. That is the reason why this is called Goat Format after all. Scapegoats running around. So now I'm accumulating pretty much what I need to make a push, I would say. Go ahead and set. I believe that was Torrential Tribute. Yeah, right now it's just I think Mike's biggest thing is going to be trying to deck me out. But like I said, I can't use the Magical Merchant for its flip effect, so I'm going to normal summon that guy and I'm going to get rid of a token because I have to make a push here soon. Otherwise I will deck out and he will win. Mike's got the Magician of Faith. Pretty good this late stage in the game. He's got a lot of his powerful one-ofs in there. He's got a lot of choices to choose from. So ultimately he's considering the fact that he hasn't seen BLS from me yet. So he knows that if I do get BLS on the board, that might be his win condition as well. So for that reason, he's going to go ahead and grab Snatch Steal. I do have a lot of life points at this point in time too, so he's gonna have to make a push if he wants to do damage. So he's gonna go into Breaker. He's gonna immediately activate its effect. I was considering if I had anything engraved to chain Call Haunted to, but I did not, so Call Haunted goes to the grave. He's gonna go ahead and clear a token with Moth. And he's gonna put some damage on me with Breaker. It's looking pretty good for Mike at this point in time. Not gonna lie, I'm running out of cards here. Yeah, that wasn't a Torrential, that was a Call Haunted. That's Torrential right there. Considering if I want to set it or not. I don't think I've seen his MST at this point. I was trying to remember if I did or not. Big chess game. You can see this game 1 is ridiculously long. If you guys are with us to this point, you can see that game 2, based off of the length of the video, is not nearly as long. So yeah, I hadn't seen his MST at this point in time, so Torrential Tribute will be blown up, go to the grave. That was something I needed to make a big push, fortunately. I do have a Heavy Storm with myself though, so if I am able to get off BLS, I could potentially Heavy Storm first to clear anything he has. He doesn't have any back row at the moment, but I'm just saving it just in case. End up summoning a Breaker of my own. Keeping its counter, of course, there's nothing to pop anyways, but I want to get some more damage on him. He's running low on life points at this point in time. So I'm going to attack the Moth versus the Breaker. He's able to metamorphosis his last Scapegoat token though. Steal my Breaker. And he's going to attempt to attack me though. I do have a lot of life points at this point in time, so ultimately his best goal is just to deck me out, but he could potentially do damage for game as well. But I did have the Scapegoat, so the stall for a bit longer, but I'll lose 2 tokens. Figure out where the zones are going to go, but it doesn't really matter because it's Goat format. Just make it a little cleaner for you guys in the video. The same tokens. So now I have Tsukiyomi again, and I'm going to choose to flip down his Thousand Eyes Restrict. So now I've got rid of the Floodgate effect. I do have BLS at this point in time, and that's pretty much going to seal it. Tsukiyomi is going to be able to attack into the face down, and BLS will attack twice. This will not be game, but this is looking pretty good for me right now. Maybe it's too soon to say seal it, but I do have Heavy Storm and Snatch Steal in my hand, and I know that he has Snatch Steal as well. So even if he Snatch Steals my BLS, I can Heavy Storm or Snatch Steal it back, which in that case he'd have to have something good that's set, but I know that he's... Actually, I don't know if he's off his Mirror Force yet. I guess it's pretty safe to say I don't know that. But he is at less than 1,000 life points at this point. It's pretty low. We'll get you guys life points eventually on the sides, make it a little nicer as we continue to go on. We do have a new editor, Ricky, who's joining us, so he'll be helping with that. At this point, I'm just kind of showing Mike what I have. It's a game over for this one. Moth would get him something, but not enough. So we'll move on to game 2. You guys are with us this far. Thank you very much for helping us out. Some more attention, grow as a channel. Let me know how you guys like the narrated gameplay. Probably be doing this on a dueling book as well, Master Duel. But something about the live gameplay, I like it. Alright, so game 2. Mike's going to opt to go first. He'll start with Upstart Goblin. Again, up to 9,000 life points. He's going to go ahead, set 1 and pass. He didn't really draw much. I do apologize for not showing you guys the opening hands for this one. Working out the kinks. But all MST is back row. It was a Solemn Judgment, so that would have really hurt if I put out a Chaos Sorcerer BLS. It would have really hurt. Post side, he's got those good going first cards. So I'm going to go ahead and set 1 back row. And then I'm a normal summon Songen. Songen's just really intimidating. Unless you can banish it, it feels more safer face up than face down because of Nobleman of Crossout being a thing. Unless you can banish it while it's face up. And you wouldn't imagine this early in the game he has anything to get the Chaos Monsters out. It's just really deadly because you know that if you out my Songen, you give me Tsukiyomi or Sinister Serpent, whatever I want. Maybe a Moth to go into Pot of Greed again. But he's going to steal it again with Thousand Eyes Restrict, this time on purpose. But I did have a Raigeki break set, so this is looking pretty decent early on. Be able to get into my Tsukiyomi relatively quickly again. I did side in the third Raigeki break for this game, so I was able to discard one. Post side deck, Kaiku the Ghost Destroyer is really harsh against any Chaos deck, so I sided in, I believe, one Lightning Vortex and one Raigeki break. I took out my Delinquent Duo, I believe, and one other card that I thought was not as good going going second. So I'll get my Tsukiyomi. Yeah, because we have to have cards without Kaiku. Not only is Kaiku prevents us from getting onto our Chaos Monsters, my deck literally has nothing to beat over Kaiku. This build had, I think it was just Breaker with a counter, but now that I've moved past this build, I don't even have that anymore. So I do think the deck's a little better without it, but we just understand that we have to have something out with Kaiku. Go ahead and set Mirror Force, looks like. Draw into Metamorphosis. One Dark Engrave. Nothing else so far. Go ahead and set one. Like I said, Goat's kind of the grindy game, so you don't want to be too aggressive right off the bat. He's got a little marker there to remind himself to add Sinister Serpent back to hand. So he's going to get that in the standby. Just going to pass it over again. Flip Dekoichi. Going to go ahead and draw a card. See what I draw into. It's like a... Didn't see what that was. But I'm going to go ahead and attack with Dekoichi. Oh, it looks like Torrential Tribute I drew into. It's pretty good. Set another one. Set another back row and pass it over. Mike's going to go ahead and snatch steal my Dekoichi. I'm assuming he doesn't want me to go Sook Dekoichi 100 times again. And then he's going to attack in a Magical Merchant. And this is where you really see the power of Magical Merchant. Discard a light, Sinister Serpent, another light, another light, another light, and a Chaos Orc. It's a dark, it's not the worst set in the world. Another Dark Breaker, and add Nobleman to Crossout. That just loaded my graveyard to the moon with Chaos material. And I was able to get a knock as well. So then I'll draw for turn. Absolutely a piled up grave. And that's why the new build I'm using does run 3 Chaos Sorcerer instead of 2, because I'm running 3 Magical Merchant. So I had it Sinister Serpent back in the standby, go Heavy Storm, trade my Torrential for his Mirror Force, because at this point in time I'm seeing that I have a lot of Chaos Monsters in my hand, so potentially going to go for a game here soon. Hopefully, that's the plan, right? But I'm taking a little slow right now. So I'm going to Tsukiyomi my Dekoichi again, and phase out it back, and just keep playing the grind game. Remember that Mirror Force was really critical. And the fact that Dekoichi is back face down, Tribe can't pop it, which is a good thing. You do leave yourself open for a knock, but at least it prevents against Tribe. You never know what your opponent has, so you don't know what you're dealing with. We'll draw a card off Dekoichi. He was able to clear it though, so I can't do that again as much times as I want. Go ahead and Graceful Charity, draw 3. So I drew in a Pot of Greed and Chaos Sorcerer. Not the worst. Be able to discard my Sinister Serpent again. And a Metamorphosis. I believe I had 2, so made sense to get rid of 1. Pot of Greed. At this point in time, I should have a ridiculous amount of cards in hand again. And I'm going to go Chaos Sorcerer. Banish 2 from my grave. So yeah, as we reach the end here, I hope you guys enjoyed the first video on the channel. If you guys have any suggestions, just please let me know. We'll continue to make the quality better. Yeah, yeah, we really appreciate you guys. Subscribe to the channel if you already haven't. So Chaos Sorcerer, I'm considering if I attack or banish, but once he sees the BLS, he knows it's too much, so it's a good game. Alright guys, hope you guys really enjoyed this. Catch you later. Peace out.